is about slope-intercept form, right? 5.3. And you guys did discuss this last year. Why don't you guys tell me to begin with, what do you remember? Give me one thing you remember. Anybody? Y equals mx plus b. Finding slope we did on Monday. So the fact that you remember back to Monday, I'm very proud of you. What else we got? Okay, B is the y-intercept. I heard that, Gavin. Nice job. What else we got? M is the slope. Very good. So I got a couple people that remember back to last year. Anybody else? Okay. That's all right. I appreciate your honesty. If you don't remember, then we just need to talk about it a little bit more. Okay. All right, slope-intercept form. As many of you remember, you've heard this many times, y equals mx plus b. The m represents the slope, and we've been finding slope all week, right? What are some other words we use for slope? I gave you like 4 of them the other day. Words and phrases. How about, starts with an R. Rate of change. Thank you, Chase. What was the other? We're going to get there. If we have a ratio, right? It's written, you have a slope in the form like 2/3. What was the phrase we said to represent rise over run? Good. You said that? Good. All right. So for slope, we have said this is also the same as rate of change. I'm going to remind you about all these different words. I mean the same thing. We said it's the same as rise over run. You don't want to say?
I'm trying to get to lots of places.
Oh. Well, I know you can do this one if you want.
Nope, I'm good. I don't want to. I mean, you're recording, so.
All right.
I would rather not.
All right, and we also have, as Chase said, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so all of those are ways we find slope. This b is something new. B is what we call the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where our line crosses the y-axis. All right, that's what the y-intercept represents. It's where the line crosses, or the point, I better put, the point where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay? All right, so that being said, example number 1. I want to know, find slope and y-intercept. I'm going to give you an equation, y equals 2/3 x plus 5. So I need to know what m is. What is m? 2/3, perfect. I also need to know what b is, 5. The only difference I'm going to ask you to do this year is it is a point where it crosses the y-axis, so we have to write it as a point. So when we write our b, we're going to write it as 0, 5. Huh? Yep. Yeah. How about this one? What if I said y equals negative 1/7 x minus 2? What's my m? Negative 1/7. And what's my b? 0, negative 2. Okay? Have to write it as a point. Questions so far? So problems 8 through 14 are just like this. I'm going to put a little 8 through 14. Gives you the equation. You just got to say what m and b are. Good? All right, example number 2. Example number 2 is 16 through 21, or 16 through 20. Write the linear equation. What? 8 through 14. All right, write the linear equation for, this time I'm going to tell you, whoops, that's supposed to be 4. Sorry, guys. M equals 9 and B equals 0, 5. So this time we're going to take that information and put it into your equation. So we have y equals, what's my m? 9. So we have 9x plus 5, exactly. That's it. We're still doing okay? All right, let's do one more. Let's say if m is 1/2 and b equals 0, -3. Y equals, what's my m value? 1/2. Then we put our x, and then plus our b value, which is -3. So you either put plus -3 or just -3. Either one's fine, okay? All right, you guys. So, in this one, in the next section, we're going to talk about writing the equation from a graph. Okay? So let me get some graph paper up here really quickly. Yeah. All right. So we have this line. We're going to write an equation for this line. There's 2 things we need in order to write an equation for the line. We need where it crosses the y-axis, and we need a slope. Right? Okay, so the first thing we're going to look for when you're trying to write your equation is you got to find the slope, or m equals. Remember, when we're finding our slope, you count from the leftmost point. So out of the 2 points I put up here, this is the left one, right? And to get to the right one, I'm going to count down 2 and to the right 2. So that's -2 over 2. Does that simplify? -1, good. All right, so we know our slope is -1. Now we need this point where it crosses the y-axis. That is the point 0 what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so once you have those 2 pieces of information from the graph, then you're going to write your equation. Y equals m, which is -1, x plus b, which is 4. Questions, questions, questions? Anybody at all? No? Okay. Let's do another one then. How about if I gave you this line? All right. So again, from this line, there's 2 things I need. I need where it crosses the y-axis. So I need that point. And I need to find the slope. So I got to find another spot where it crosses directly on the graph, right? Okay, so the slope is 2 over 3. Very good. Up to right 3. Our b value, or that point right here, right there, good, is 0, -6. So what's our equation going to be? Y equals, yep, 2/3 x minus 6. Very good. That's what you have to do for 22 through 26. Any questions? Yeah, we can make it example 3. That sounds good. Example number 3. Whoops. Go all the way back to the top of my picture. Whoa. Example 3. And again, we said this was 22 through 26. Any questions so far? Okay. So now we're going to get a little bit tougher. Right, Connor? You ready? Yeah. All right. Example number 4. Write an equation for the line through, I'm going to give you 2 points. The first point is 3, 7. The second point is 0, -2. All right. Well, in order to write it into y equals mx plus b, there's 2 things we need, right? One is the slope, and then the y-intercept. So how are we going to get the slope? All I have are 2 points. No. You have an equation that finds you slope between 2 points. Yes. Going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is my x1, y1. This is my x2, y2. So y2 is -2 minus y1, which is 7, over x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is 3. -2 minus 7 is -9. 0 minus 3 is -3. What is my slope? +3. Good. Okay, so we have the M. We need the B. Well, are one of those points up there where it crosses the y-axis? Yes. So this is the B value, right? All right, so we have y equals. Good. 3x minus 2, gentlemen. 3x minus 2. Appreciate it. All right. We're good so far? Okay, let's do one a little bit tougher. What if it doesn't give you the y-intercept? Then it gets a little bit tougher. You have one where it doesn't give you the y-intercept. What are we going to do? No. Question 30. Okay? So, example number 5. This is kind of, I'm going to star it because this is what you would do for number 30. We're writing an equation. Maybe. Equation. There we go. Through, let's say, -3, 3, and through the points 1, 2. So the very first thing we have to do is find the what? The slope. Let's start there. Okay? So this is my x1, y1. This is my x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 2 minus 3. -1 over the sandwiches. You're right. So we have 1 plus 3 or 4. So our slope is -1/4. Does everybody agree there? Everybody say yes. Yes. Good deal. All right. So far we have y equals, our slope is -1/4, x plus b. B is what we don't know. So here's the trick to number 30. You have to take this point and plug it in for x and y and solve for b. So we're going to plug in for x and y. Solve for b to find your b value. So we have, out of 1 and 2, which one's my y value? 2. So I have 2 equals -1/4 times my x value of 1 plus b. 2 equals, if I multiply those, I get negative 1 over 4 plus b. All right, how are we going to solve this equation for b? What do you guys want to do? Add 1/4? Okay, we can do that. I like that idea. Let's clear the fraction. If I clear the fraction, I'm going to times everything by 4. We get 8 equals negative 1 plus 4b. Now let's go ahead and add 1 over. Oh, add 1 over. So we have 9 equals, hey guys, 9 equals 4b. Now what do? Yep, so we're going to divide both sides by 4. We end up with b equaling 9 over 4. So I'm going to take this 9 over 4 and plug it back into my equation where b goes. So I end up with y equals negative 1 over 4x plus 9 over 4. Very good. Yes, it is. That's why when we go to do section 5-4, there's an easier way. But we're only going to do this for now. Okay? All right. Next section, I still have a little bit of time. Last example. Last example, and this is probably what you guys remember the most from last year. So this is example 6. Graph. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. When we graph this line, step 1, you want to plot the b. So on the y-axis, you're going to put a dot at where the b goes, which is where? 0, 2. Very good. So in this case, we're going to plot the b at 0, 2. So right here on the y-axis, I go right there and put my dot. Step 2, from b, do rise over run. So from my dots, I'm going to do my slope of rise over run. So I'm going to rise up 1 and run over 3 and put a dot. Connect. That's it. Whoop. There we go. Okay? I know, I'm sorry. So one more really quickly, and then I'm done. So I want you to graph y equals negative 2x plus 1. So we start to graph this by plotting the b value. b, in this case, is 0, 1, right? So we put a dot at 0, 1 on the y-axis. Then, from that, we're going to do rise over run. So we look at our slope, but what's that magical number underneath negative 2 again? Good. So, from that dot, what do? This is rise over run. So go down. Good. Go down 2. And to the right, 1. Connect, exactly. All right, any questions? So you have about 10 minutes right now. If you would prefer to do those few problems on graph paper, there's only a couple of them you have to graph. So actually, there's only one you got to graph. So, I mean, you're welcome to use graph paper, or you can just put it straight on your homework. That's fine, too. Whatever works best for you. I know. I think we're, like, using them so much that they're... Yeah?